You talk a lot about a shift towards kind of compassionate and collaborative leadership, and emphasize the importance of mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Are there any ethical frameworks that you follow or recommend for leaders navigating complex decisions?
That's a very good one. I think the whole aspect of how I was approaching leadership was very much, okay, I want to do that. I have that vision. I drive it all. And it's very self-centered, right? This was I would say, the old approach that I took. Right now, I think I would say it's more conscious. It's a conscious leadership style where I would say I'm in service of this vision and the people.
Welcome to the EU Startups Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the show hosted by Marcin Lewandowski.
This episode of EU Startups Podcast is brought to you by Vanta. Whether you're starting or scaling your company's security program, demonstrating top-notch security practices and establishing trust is more important than ever. Vanta automates compliance for ISO 27001, SOC 2, and more, saving you time and money, while helping you build customer trust. Plus, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center, all powered by Vanta AI. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Get a special offer of $1,000 off at vanta.com/EU startups. That's VANTA.com/EU startups.
Hey everyone, this is Marcin Lewandowski and you're listening to the EU Startups Podcast. My guest today is Andreas Loy, the founder and CEO of KONUX. KONUX is a leading German AI scale-up transforming railway operations for a sustainable future. The company combines machine learning and IoT to deliver software solutions for operations, monitoring, and maintenance process automation. Since its foundation in 2014, KONUX has raised more than $130 million from world-leading investors, expanded to 10 countries in Europe and Asia, and was selected by the World Economic Forum as one of the world's 30 most innovative startups and scale-ups worldwide. Everyone, give it up for Andreas. Awesome to have you on the show, Andy.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Amazing. So, Andreas, you've achieved impressive milestones with KONUX, creating over 500 million euros in shareholder value by the age of 29. What ignited your passion for AI and its transformative potential in railway operations?
Thank you very much. If I look back at 2014, when I basically started the company with my co-founders, we were super interested about where's the biggest impact on using data to create value. And so we came up with the idea of KONUX, which was basically saying, okay, we use different data sources. My background is in information systems from Technical University of Munich and Stanford University, where I also dropped out while of my master's when we started the company. And we were thinking about, okay, what can we do with data that really provides value? We looked at different categories, markets, and then we found in this kind of process of looking where is really the biggest impact for that, we found rail, because railway is the most sustainable mode of motorized transportation, and everybody who experience rail in Europe day by day, you might suffer from delays, and we're thinking about why is that, and so we're trying to help them and really empower them to use that amazing system of railways to really make it work more functionally, and being basically making trains arrive on time, and this is kind of the purpose which then united us and is still uniting the team every day. to give their best to make that the mobility choice of tomorrow, that we don't think about delays when we think about rails, that we think about, that great experience, and that we don't want to use any other mode of transportation that doesn't serve for the same distance.
Right. Awesome, Andreas. So actually, stepping back from KONUX and embarking on a journey of self-discovery before your 30th birthday must have actually been a significant decision. What led you to take this step, and how has it transformed your perspective on life and business?
Yeah, I mean, it was like with 29, I had a diagnosis of a sinus node anomaly, which means that you have outages in your heart rate. And so as it is, if you think about it is more of it's not a hardware problem of your physical body, rather a software problem. So it's a failure in your autonomous nervous system. And so that got me thinking of basically stepping out the first time after just working day and night before that. And so I took a time off for 2 months to really disconnect from everything. And in that process, I discovered meditation, yoga places, and I really recognized that I was quite disconnected from my feelings. I was only working, and trying to be the best and overachieve, trying to be the best possible CEO, trying to raise more money and trying to just be all of that, what I thought basically was the expectation, and the expectation that I built inside. And then I was like, and then in a breathwork session, I would say I experienced myself again and started feeling again. And so after that journey, I knew I need to change. I didn't know in which direction that will lead me, but I took the decision then to step back at the time as the CEO and chairman of KONUX, and basically heal my heart in many ways. And that journey then, led me to exploration of big learning and transcendental meditation, learning breathwork, becoming a facilitator as well, and the different tools I have to reconnect to myself. And I was also you're back at the time my last name was Kunze. Now it's Loy, because I also surrendered in changing my name. I took my wife's name and also letting go in a certain way of my brand back at the time to really see who am I and what is important for me. And this journey was, I think the most difficult one, harder than building a startup, but so much worth it. And then then this journey led me to discovering new places in the world, and also starting different new projects. And it led me to myself. And I'm like, I love it. Back at the time, I would have said, when you're 29 and you're just raised a large round of money and you're on the way to this IPO track, and you get everything you ever wished for, you wanted. And then there came my heart and told me, you need to go a different path. And I was like, back at the time, it was probably one of the hardest days, and I didn't understand why life is doing that to me. Now I would say this was the biggest gift I could have ever received, because it led me more to myself.
Amazing. I love how you speak about it. Actually, I love that you're all about balance and well-being. Now, so spill the beans, Andreas. What's your go-to self-care ritual that keeps you feeling like, I don't know, like $1,000,000 even on the busiest day?
Yeah, today, I think that the biggest investment, we're always, as entrepreneurs, and we're surround ourselves by our own and other one's expectations. So for me, it's really about how much time do you give to yourself, right? And this kind of self-discipline is for me the highest form of self-love. So what I do every morning, I start my day with The routine where I drink a little bit of tea, journal what I'm grateful for in life in general, and basically taking that view on also the abundance that I have. And I don't mean by abundance money. I mean having my mom and that she loves me, and having my wife, she loves me. I love both of them from the bottom of my heart. And just the simple things that I might acknowledge on that day, drinking a tea, doing a little bit of breath work, and then any kind of movement can be yoga, it can be sports, it can whatever I feel like. And I think I'm devoting, I would say, 2 hours every day in the morning to myself, and then my day was already beautiful. And then for sure challenges hit, but then you take them with on another perspective, on another angle if you were zooming out. And so I don't, my company will tell you, and everybody who knows me, it's very hard to reach me before 9 a.m. because this is the time that's devoted to me. And
Awesome. I know also that you talk a lot about, a shift towards kind of compassionate and collaborative leadership, and emphasize the importance of mental, emotional, and physical well-being. How do you think you incorporate these principles into your leadership style, or generally in leadership style at KONUX? Are there any ethical frameworks that you follow or recommend for leaders navigating complex decisions?
That's a very good one. I think the whole aspect of how I was approaching leadership was very much, okay, I want to do that. I have that vision, I drive it all. And it's very self-centered, right? This was I would say, the old approach that I took. Right now, I think I would say it's more conscious. It's a conscious leadership style where I would say I'm in service of this vision and the people and the vision. And so I think in that regard, I mean, it first starts with self-leadership of everybody. I think also when I rejoined as interim CEO of KONUX, this was the first thing I said. It's not about me sitting here or not sitting here. It's about every individual giving their best, right? In our society, we have that perception that, oh, Steve Jobs built the iPhone. It's like, I know, but let's be honest, it was engineers who developed it. I think there needs to be every company is a combination and a synergy and a co-creation of so many different parts. And I think for me, this is really what acknowledging that as leader, and that you're trying to help everybody let his personal best, whatever that is, kind of unleash. That's the biggest power. And for me, it's a very different, like the last 6 months have been a very different leadership experience for myself, and also I think for everybody surround me, because it's not about me. It's about the company's vision and the people. And so if you're in service to that, what does it mean? It means that you're basically giving your personal best so that everybody can give his personal best. And I think that we have incorporated a program. For example, we're now, our executive team practice like having coaching sessions, working with also breath work and all those tools that bring you back to yourself. Because I think in the last 180 days, I had 3 days where I was kind of going into old patterns, old habits of working long night, and just unhealthy patterns. But what are the tools that you have that bring you back to yourself? Because if you're yourself, then and the full expression of it, then you radiate it out, right? In every meeting, if the leader is in state, it's rippling, and then it ripples through the whole company. So for me, I would say the big shift is also this kind of not being saying self-centered, but on there, not saying that it's all about you, but in the end, it's about you being you and then being in service.
Love it. Andrea, so you're all about inclusive leadership and empowering others, which is beautiful. So here's a fun challenge. If you could swap jobs with anyone for a day, who would it be and why? And what do you think they'd learn from stepping into your shoes and vice versa?
Jobs. That's interesting. Never thought about that, but I would turn it around a little bit. I would swap with my mom. It's like just she is now retired after surgery. She had to retire from her job, and now she's taking care of my my nephew, and she's like the most loving grandma, the most loving mom. I would say. I just kind of, she's so devoted and in service for the family and the people around her. So I mean, and she has such a big open heart. I think I could learn so much, and also the appreciation for life and nature she has. I'm like, I would, yeah. I mean, this is like, she's embodying that being in service. I would say on another level. And what would she learn? I don't know. It's like probably she would bring her feminine, loving power into that company and would run much better than I would ever be able to do that.
Man, that's an awesome answer. I love it. So your vision, of united commitment to sustainability is like music to my ears. How does KONUX embody this vision today, and what advice maybe would you give to emerging leaders to foster such culture?
That's a good question. I think the embodiment of that is if you have a vision which is by its definition the core purpose, like the just why of a company, if that serves humanity and the planet and our planet, in that case we're serving the most sustainable mode of transportation to make it more efficient, more comfortable for everybody who uses. I think this is one aspect, so the outer purpose. And then for sure, it's the embodiment of the single behaviors of people on how often do you take a train versus a plane? How do you, like all those small decisions on a day-to-day basis, which you can basically by your own self-leadership, basically either embody or not, and just be authentic about that. And on the other side, it's the company's purpose. And then do you as a team unite and have kind of build operating principles around that, around sustainability, around the way you want to drive that purpose. And so what another, I would say, wonderful project I'm working on, and it's called YOPE, which means youth and hope combined. And so what we're doing there is it's former entrepreneurs, one of them being me, and others are the founder of AV Medical, the founder of Splunk. I don't know if you know Splunk, Michael Baum. He's a serial entrepreneur. Splunk was just recently acquired for $28 billion. And so we put together quite some money, in total, I would say over 50 million in assets to nurture with a non-profit entity the next generation of leaders that want to create impact for the well-being of humanity and the planet. So those will kind of get, like, we're working with universities to give donations. It will be around 100K per university per year. And then they will, every team that will then be nurtured by that money, so it's basically free money to work on an impact idea, they will become part of a conscious leadership program called the YOPE Way, which is all about starting 1 month with the self and learning those tools and working on yourself and being the best version of yourself. and not the best version of somebody else, but the best version of yourself. And then kind of uniting.
That's you said that. Yeah.
And then uniting as a team and saying, what is our, like, how do you work together as a team, and how do you basically, want to shape that together and build principles around keeping that core purpose of your impact company really during the journey, kind of co-created, and hold each other accountable and help each other also when someone loses itself, because I think everybody knows human experience is about you lose yourself, you find yourself, and the question is only in which kind of cadence you learn to do that as a team. And then really about the last part, about the alternate future. How do you lead society with whatever you create in terms of the vision of that impact company, being it in sustainability, being it in AI, around how do you create an alternate future for society by the creation you're doing? What will the world look like when you're successful versus you're not there? And I think this program hopefully will help the next generation of conscious leaders. They're creating something good for humanity and the planet, to also unite with each other and kind of becoming more and more a generational ecosystem. And hopefully in a few years, then one of them will take over the leadership of that foundation, so that it kind of continues flowing for the good purpose.
That sounds amazing. And I said that it's amazing that you said that, you encourage those people to be the best versions of themselves, not the best versions of somebody else. Because, oftentimes when it comes to founders, I meet founders and they say, like, they tell me the story and they like have this, so I think this founder wants to be the next, I don't know, Steve Jobs, or the next Pincus, or the Mark Zuckerberg. And, if that's if you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg, the best you're ever going to be is second place, because Mark Zuckerberg is always going to be better Mark Zuckerberg than you. So focus on being the best version of yourself. And, on actually being like entrepreneurship to me is about being the cause, not being the effect, because the effect which you're gonna build and like how much value will create, how much money you're gonna make, and so on, is just the effect. And like being an entrepreneur is about being the cause. So like building someone else's reality, like removing time, space, friction, just making their life better. And this is what entrepreneurs should focus on, in my view. But anyways, Andreas, I really am loving this conversation with you, and your vision speaks to a connected, purpose-driven world where entrepreneurship is a force for good. And you just told us about those entrepreneurs that you want to empower, next generation of entrepreneurs. So what do you think are the big ticket social or environmental challenges founders should tackle today?
I think the whole area, I know we could have a whole half an hour around this. It's the whole area of sustainability, where we're like, I think we need to acknowledge that we as humans, even though our intention might have been good, we put that planet into a certain space, and I think there's so many ways to change that, right? And this can be sustainable consumption. This can be working on clean water. And it's like, I think there's an outline of so many different challenges. And for me, it's always this fusion of how can you use technology that is there, like, for example, AI, to address one of those big global challenges that we're currently facing as humanity and society. And also, I think it's not only humanity, right? I mean, we have a certain responsibility also to every other being on the planet, every animal, and I think everything like in a smaller space where you're saying, okay, you don't use tech, you use something and you just ripple it out in the world. It's great. If you want to build a larger company, usually it has a technology component nowadays, and the question is, and this is why I'm always smiling when people talk about the ethics and everything around AI. And I'm like, for me, it's a gift of it's a technology gift that you can use for good or not good. And this all comes down, what is your true intention? If your true intention is to be in service, to have this purpose for the world, then it is just amazing to use it. And this is like, I think it's, 100%. If you compare it to fire, right? You can use fire was used to cook meals, right? To warm our houses. Or you can burn a city. But that is the choice that a human makes. And this is why I think it's not us saying this is good or bad. It's more of how do we use everything we have today to create a better future. And then this means in terms of technology. And so I think what we can do is, as soon as we launch Europe, I will just send around, and there will be a whole list of things where I think it's worth it to address, and we as a team think. But also here again, who am I to know what's the best pathway? I think this is why the next generation coming with their ideas to make a better world, which they want to live in themselves. Just starting from there is amazing.
It's amazing. I love the analogy to fire. It's so simple, man. Like you just can, warm up people's lives with fire or just burn cities. Sustainability, clearly is at the heart of your vision. And you already shared like exciting investment or project you're passionate about now. So I'm gonna skip that question, but let's move a bit to sustainable transportation, which KONUX is all about and is a key. But I'm actually curious, if you could design your dream eco-friendly vehicle, what features would it have? And bonus points for any wild futuristic ideas that you have.
It's like it would be teleportation.
Perfect.
So it would be just me just coming energetically. I mean, now we have that energetic we have that conversation which is technology enabled, but what about me just being next to you as a human being, descending,
right? Like
coming,
instead of jumping
forward
on the online recording studio, you would just teleport and we would just sit together. That would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is you said wild and futuristic.
yeah, that's amazing.
Probably this was an airplane. This was a rocket some years ago as well. So
yeah, true. And teleportation, man, you don't leave it's gonna be super sustainable. You don't leave any carbon footprint. Perfect. Let's work on this one. I love it.
Yeah, it's perfect. You tell me when you're ready. You call me. I'm there. Literally.
Let's do that. Andy, finally, let's wrap things up on a high note. If you could send a message in a bottle to your future self, what would it say? And where would you hope to find the bottle washed ashore years from now?
I would write, stay in love, focus on your center, and I will find it on Norfolk Beach in South Africa.
Amazing. I love it. Andreas, thank you so much for the time that you shared with me and spent your time with us. I love the interview. This was actually one of the best conversations I had on this podcast. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you, and looking forward to speaking to you soon. And thank you, everybody, for listening.